G'day fellas and welcome to a casted game of Age of Empires 4. Today we are on Enlightened Horizon once again to watch two of the world's best players fight it out. Ladies and gentlemen, an exciting map. They've just redone it and hopefully we get to see quite a bit of action because players are going to need to get out here early if they want to secure these resources. In fact, we can see some interesting spawns when it comes to the deer. But we'll get into this a little bit later because it's time to introduce our players. Ladies and gentlemen, spawning on the northeast side of the map in the color green, playing as the House of Lancaster today, it's Numidan. And on the south side of the map, playing as the Order of the Dragon, opening up with an early barracks, which I love on this map. Can I just start by saying that? Ladies and gentlemen, it's Blueberry. Now, who could this possibly be? Somebody trying to sneak under the radar? Somebody trying to practice some cool strategies without being caught, perhaps? Ladies and gentlemen, it's none other than Don Artie. The Don is making a return to the channel. Great to see him back. Now, why would a barracks early make a lot of sense on this map? There's actually one reason and one reason only. And that is because these little things that you're about to see right here, these points of interest, are representative or equivalent to a single villager. So over on the side of Numidan, you can see he's just captured his. He hasn't actually gathered any sheep the entirety of this early game. Instead, all he's done is just gathered up this merchant camp. And I was thinking about it after the last cast that we did, that with this map, it makes a lot of sense to open with an early racks, because ideally you want your scout out on the map collecting deer. So how else are you going to do it? Well, you could go a second scout, but you don't really want to do that. You could bring a villager out and capture it, but you don't really want to do that. So what do you do? And I feel like the answer is just go early racks. Go for an early racks, look to get out a couple of spears, and just look to gain control of these neutral positions. Now, Don's going to be taking it quite slow here. We see that he's only got the single spear for the moment, and he'll be moving over to the other side because every single game, it's going to spawn the same way. But I think this is something that you could really look to try and drive quite a bit of competitive, or competition rather, between players in the Dark Age, because this is pretty important, right? The one villager equivalent, it's pulling in 15 wood, 15 gold, 15 food. That's a lot of resources. So to have that is definitely something that you want on your side, but whether or not you should go to the extent. By the way, we got idle vills under here for Don Artie. Don Artie not paying attention. Maybe he is paying attention, just can't do anything about it. All right, looks like no. He just can't do anything about it. The consequence of killing the sheep a little bit too close to the town center is that you do get these idols sometime that pop up. You can see he's only got 9 vills here, so it's not a whole lot. This one's going to come out straight away. Is he paying attention? Let's see. Yeah, he is. Good. He is paying attention. So not going to slaughter it out in the middle of no man's land. Now, age up is coming through on the side of Numidan. It is going to be the Abbey of Kings for him today. So interesting decision from Numidan. We are going to be witnessing some very strong Lords of Lancaster that are going to be coming out for us. Now, keep in mind, I've got a new setup here, so my audio might not be perfect. Let me know in the comments below if it isn't. I'm not actually standing in this cast. This is a seated cast. But, yeah, so far, new desk. Absolutely enjoying it. It is a desky desk. Thanks for asking. I got the walnut color. I feel like I did not pronounce that correctly. The walnut color. The walnut color. How do you pronounce walnut? I think I'm pronouncing it correctly. Anyway, let's talk a little bit about the game and a little bit less about what's going on in my desk life. Now, check this out. We've got the scout up against the spears, but because the scout's faster than the spear's never going to be able to touch the scout as long as you keep doing it. And because of that, he's always going to just be generating these resources for himself. Now, of course, this is going to lock out his scout. It's going to be forced around here. But you can see that he's slowly working it down. So does this mean that you kind of have to go for a second spear here? How do you deal with the scout? Oh, 2 more hits and he'll get him. Don't worry. You can see he's still pulling in those resources. So this is definitely a viable strategy to be just dancing on this, I was going to call it a sacred site, but the point of interest. Now, I'm curious to see what direction Don goes here, but I would suspect it's probably going to be fast castle. Maybe another unit or two. You can see he's already got the spears out. Might be looking at doing a little bit of deer pushing, which definitely makes a lot of sense considering the Aachen Chapel location. Beautiful Aachen Chapel, by the way. One of the best Aachen Chapels, probably the best Aachen Chapel I've ever seen in a long time. Actually, now that I think about it, Order of the Dragon and, Order of the Dragon and Holy Roman Empire on this map are absolutely busted, because if you can secure this at the back, I mean, look over here on the other side. Yeah, you could do the exact same thing over here. You can get guaranteed god tier Aachen spawns every single game. That's kind of crazy when you think about it. Just the fact that there's nothing your enemy can do about it, right? Like, it's there. It's up against the stone. It's up against the wood. It's buffing up the gold. It's hitting up on the town center as well. Everything. Oh, he's brought the scout over. Interesting. Yeah, okay. Well, that solves that problem. I guess you only need to go for the one spear. He's bringing the second one back, though, just because he wants to help out with the deer push. We'll check in with the Lords of Lancaster and see how they're doing. You can see on the UI, we've now got that in the top right-hand corner, that it is tracking how many Lords are out, how many Menas are out. So far, we've got 2 Menas that are built. The third one is coming up now. Nice little timing that he's actually got right here. And I'm curious to see whether or not he goes into the full 6 immediately, how he looks to play this, because keep in mind, he's not going to have the ability to call Demi-Lancers early on. He's going to have to wait for Imperial Age if he wants to get his hands on any Demi-Lancers today. But, of course, I guess there's less emphasis on the Menas being as important when you go for the Abbey of Kings compared to the Lancaster Castle. But I'm kind of curious to see that the Abbey of the Kings is at the back. I would have thought it would have been at the front, but I guess it makes more sense to be at the back anyway, just because majority of the fights are probably going to be happening in this sort of area, right? Like, I feel like it's rare that you're going to be pushing towards the front. I think both players kind of prefer to avoid it. But, I mean, we still do have those pushes that come, but it makes a bit more sense. And you can see he's struggling right now with the food. He's definitely looking for that age up. Got quite a few vills over on gold, and now that final push from the deer is coming through. Should be able to transition these vills over, and now we start to see him doing that. So looking to push in these deer, and once again getting some good shots off on these close deer. Donati doing a wonderful job early on. Another mana going to be coming up, so indeed we are now up to a cap of 6 manas. I'll tell you what, I got to fix up my sensitivity here. I keep going to the edge. There's probably a setting or something I've missed when I reformatted my computer, but it's definitely quite excited when I get over to the edge of the screen. So I probably have to move that setting down. Anyway, so far so good for both of these players. A very passive opening so far. I'm starting to think out loud. Hold on. Is there a chance that we see fast Imperials that come through right now? By the way, only building the manas with 1 vil. I haven't actually worked out what the breakpoint is yet for the manas and the fastest time to possibly, or the best time to build them, but yeah, 1 vil probably makes the most sense. Another mana now going to be coming down on the south side of the town center, so all 6 manas now going to be present for our House of Lancaster, our Lancastrian. And Regnitz Cathedral going to be coming up on the side of Don Ardi. Now, how does Don look to play this one out? Keep in mind, all of your relics are going to be very central on this map. So once again, another good thing for the Order of the Dragon, Holy Roman Empire, Jussi Legacy, those sorts of civilizations that like relics. But I think realistically, this is a map. This is a map right here for for the Order of the Dragon and for the Holy Roman Empire, just purely from this early opening. I mean, Order of the Dragon already likes to open with this Dark Age Rax, right? Because they start off with that extra wood, if I remember correctly. So they can definitely afford to get away with it. So it just really makes sense to pick that civilization here. The Aachen Chapel, buffing up all the villages, getting that nice little 15% gather rate. And then on top of that, you've got the Regnitz Cathedral, a little bit late to age up, so not a huge deal, but it basically means that you're always going to be able to secure these nice and early. I mean, the age up was late, but that's only because he opened up with the Rax. Like, this is a very quick age up when we consider the fact there is a Rax involved here. Now, speaking of Rax and an archery range coming down on the other side, it looks like Numidan probably just going to be chilling out at the 6 for now. We don't see that upgrade coming through the open field system. Even though he can technically afford it, I suspect he's going to be looking for Castle Age immediately. Stable is completed and immediately moves into the Gilded Knight, so Numidan probably going to be on the defense, not on the defense, but going to be getting out and dodging. Wall is on. Wall is up down towards that south side. I'd love to see more walls coming up around this base, even just something across the back like here, just so that you can control the narrative a little bit more, maybe even a crossover onto this stone. Really try and segment the base and just prevent that raid from inevitably happening, because it will happen. It will happen. It's just about whether or not you're going to be able to stop it. But now those Lords of Lancaster, the second one is coming out, going to be looking to influence, and we hear the first relic picked up, snagged away. Scout's actually behind the gates at the moment, but there's the second Lord of Lancaster making its way out. You know, now that I think about it, we haven't seen that many games with the Lord of Lancaster. I think it was just that initial game with Winston that we got to see it, and other than that, it's just they haven't really made much of a presence. But coming out now The Spearman just going to get... I don't even know what I was going to say. Why is the Gilded Knight giving this up? Like, the Gilded Knight is literally able to just take this entire army right now. I would not be fussed if I was the Gilded Knight. Yeah, he's doing the right thing here. He can just pick these off individually. He does so much damage. Like, he's three-shotting these spears. And it's the reality of having a Gilded Knight. Like, they're just so strong, so tanky. So he cleans up the spears. Definitely the right call here. He can now look to take the rest of these units out. I think he just wants to avoid losing them. And you can see that behind the scenes, he is able to collect these relics. So picking up 2 of these relics so far. 3 of them remain. These ones towards the top side of the map are the ones that are left. Gilded Knight forced back for the moment, but he'll undoubtedly look to move into a couple more units, and we can now start to see those coming through. Another Gilded Crossbowman, as well as a Gilded Knight. And then I think Imperial Age is coming through. You can see from the way that the resources are stacked up, he's also got the double farms here. I suspect Imperial Age is going to be coming in. Now, the question for me, or at least in my mind, is do you go Swabia here? I feel like if you're going for a fast imp like this, you still 100% want to go Swabia. By the way, King's College on the other side of the map. So Numidan not going to be playing into that White Tower. We have seen success with the White Tower recently. I was a bit hesitant to support it, but then when we saw the power that came out from the White Tower, I tell you what, my lord, man. Together with the Berkshire, it is incredible. But there it is now, the King's College online. A whole bunch of unique upgrades potentially in there. Blacksmith going to get dropped down straight away, like it's a monastery. Almost makes me think he misclicks, but no, he gets the monastery down as well. Relics continuing to get gathered up here, and I don't know if there's going to be any relics left for him to grab. There's maybe 1 relic if he's lucky, but we can see that 4th relic in the middle, likely to get taken. Don wants it. He's moving around the outside. Spearman going to get caught, not going to be able to find it. Meanwhile, let's check in with Numidan. Yeah, Numidan spots this relic out, and look at the timing on this. He sees the deer moving. The relic gets picked up behind the scenes. He sees it, but he doesn't see it, if you get what I mean. Meanwhile, it looks like this Spearman was cleaned up. Yeoman moving across, obviously intent on disqualifying. I was going to say disqualifying the relic, denying the relic from the enemy. 5th relic still up here, waiting to get picked up. Monk en route. And now it is indeed the Palace of Swabia that is coming out right here. I'm still finding my feet with this new desk and this keyboard. Where do my fingers go? Okay, there we go. I just ran into... Oh, he saw something. He saw a relic. I mean, at this point, it's so close to the enemy base. It's unlikely that you're going to get it, but he's trying to work every single bit of it through. Does he find it? He's looking. He's like, where are you? I know you're in here. You're just going to see a walla lol, but there it goes. So he manages to do some damage here. Now, does the Monk decide to change route here, or does he go for a second one? Yeah, he's going for a second one, so he is going to try and contest this. He's moving down over for it, and there's quite a few units here, but keep in mind, he actually cancelled those units. So there's a good chance he loses this relic. And that's pretty big, right? Like, at the end of the day, which one do you prefer? Do you prefer the relic? Do you prefer the age up? Now, that was a spring emplacement. We didn't actually... We do see it, but you can see it doesn't reveal... when it's attacking. Oh, does it reveal? No, it does reveal. It's just it's weird how it reveals. That's a bit strange. It doesn't actually reveal like the building itself. I mean, it is, but it's all blacked out. It's a bit weird. Where did this monk go? Did he? Yeah, okay. He did the right thing. So he brought that initial monk over down towards the south side. And then that secondary monk is going to come back up over here and pick this first relic up. So it should be a 3-2 split. So honestly, not too bad for Numidan in this game to get a 3-2 split, considering how late it was that he aged up in this game. Now, there are still 6 manas online, 3 yet to be built. And I would be, I was going to say, I'd be surprised if he went for those additional 3, but we can see he's actually moving into the open field system right now. So this is quite an early open field system. I say early, quite a late open field system. Oh, no way. Oh, he could potentially be denied. Oh my lord! Look, it sits there on the edge where it was last held. But fortunately for Don, Numidan doesn't see him make it all the way through. He was really camping that up, and now that he's managed to escape with it, that's going to be 3 relics in favor of the Order of the Dragon, 2 relics in favor of the House of Lancaster. So if you had to give one a favor, or if you had to give one an advantage at this point in the game, who would you give the advantage to? Don Artie has managed to age up without too much of a hassle, hasn't had to make many units. Primarily, Spearman came out early just to grab these little points of interest, and the Knight did a decent job of keeping the enemy back, so that's definitely good. But he's only secured 3 relics. I mean, 3 relics is still good, don't get me wrong, but it's not great. Meanwhile, on the side of his opponent, you've got the 6 manas that are up, your Castle Age. You've also secured 2 relics, denying them from your Order of the Dragon opponent. There's definitely a window here where I feel like you probably want to add a second TC. He's got the 3 manas at the back as well that have just come up. But I think adding in the second TC is going to make sense. Alternatively, he could look to go Imperial himself. In fact, he is looking to Imperial himself and go for some sort of timing push. The only thing is, I feel like Swabia pays itself off way too quickly for a timing push in Imperial to work, unless, this is the whole thing, unless you go for the Castle Lancaster. Castle Lancaster, you can go Imperial and be attacking the enemy at like 15, 16 minutes, and actually just destroy them, like with 90 units. I really want to try that. I got to try the fast Imperial. I got to see if that works, because I'm confident. I'm confident it could work, but you got to remember, these guys are good. These guys are battle tested, battle hardened. Meanwhile, Bills are moving out. Don Hardy going to be scouting these out and saying, hey, little raid might make some sense up here. In fact, we do see the Gilded Knight moving up. He's going to be looking to try and take some sacred sites as well. Keep in mind, all three of these sacred sites are towards the northern part of the map. Wingard Palace going to be coming through. Where is this Wingard Palace going down? This is a bit of a... It's in the back of the base, so definitely a bit safer in the back of the base. Not going to be looking to do a Berkshire at the front, which you definitely could get away with. Now, the next question I've got is, do we see Order of the Dragon... Wait, Order of the Dragon, they get the Black Rider, right? Like, I'm not going crazy. Or is it only the Holy Roman Empire? I think it's only the Holy Roman Empire. Apologies. Apologies. Don't worry. I'll get there eventually. Speaking of getting there eventually, I'm sure next patch we'll see the Gilded Black Rider. That's what I'm talking about. Now the Knight making its way through onto the Gold Vein, almost one-shotting that villager. Not going to be able to find it just yet. Of course, not yet elite upgraded. Soon it will be. But going to be disrupting this gold gathering exercise for the moment. Sacred Site being held for the moment. If you move a second monk onto it, does that double? No, it doesn't double the rate. But, you know, it's something that they could test out, something that they could work with. Spear's going to try. Oh, Spear's just absolutely crucifying that poor Gilded Knight, dude. I don't even think these guys got a second shot off. Have they got Billman? Have they got Billman? They don't have Billman. They've got the Lord Aura. You know what? Maybe there's a world where feudal House of Lancaster with Billman and Lords of Lancaster just go absolutely wild, right? Like, you grab all... How haven't we seen a game with that yet? That's kind of wild when you think about it, right? Because it seems so obvious. Like, not only do you have the best archer in the game, but you've also got the best spearman in the game, and you've got a way to buff them both 20% health in the Feudal Age. Like, how is this not a thing? And I guess that's just the economics behind the civilization. Just... It naturally makes you want to do that, right? Like, you want to play economically, and whenever you're playing economically, you're going to play more defensively, and so as a result, because you're playing economically, you want to play defensively, so you go for the Lancaster Castle, so Abbey of Kings never really gets into play. It's one of those whole things where there's a whole bunch of fallout from it, but anyway, Monk getting cleaned up. Spears should be able to clean it up. Indeed they do. And so far, a very passive game. 17 minutes into this, not a whole lot of units being traded between these guys. In fact, but about 2,000 resources worth of units has been traded between them. And now we've got ourselves a little bit of wolf den farming. Oh my lord, that whistle's so loud when I zoom in. I gotta be careful not to zoom in, otherwise the whistles get too loud. Upgrades on the way for Don. Now, what's Don doing with regard to his army? Hand cannoneers, horsemen, together with some gilded crossbows. So just keeping it simple. Nothing too crazy for him so far. Meanwhile, on the side of Numidan, he's just sticking to the old faithful, old standard. We got ourselves a little bit of a slow opening here. Second town center is now down, now completed. You can see just how far behind he is, but keep in mind that there's a number of factors in play here. Obviously, we've got the villager difference, right? When we look at this, Order of the Dragon miles ahead. Order of the Dragon villagers obviously better than your standard villagers as well. But there is in play the manners. We've got Scootage that's come through. We've got Tithe Barns that's come through as well with the 2 relics. So there's definitely quite a bit to consider. But take a look at the upgrade that we've got on the way now. Heavy torches. So that area of effect on the spearman torches, very specific. It's particularly good at sieging down farms. So if your opponent has got like a mill with a whole bunch of farms around it, you go and siege the mill and it will siege all of the farms around it immediately. So it can be really painful when you're doing big raids like that, because you could just completely wipe out your enemy's backline. Why are the vills going so fast? Look at that. Is it just me or are they running really fast? Maybe they're just very keen for work today. Perhaps that's what the case is. Dude, I didn't realize how defensive this game was going to be. Normally, whenever you cast like high-level players, it's not a very defensive game. You know, we've seen a lot of games recently like that. One that was, I thought it was Louis MT. I think it was CSO. Sorry, CSO. I think it was CSO, not Louis MT. But yeah, I guess that explains why you're so aggressive. Because as I said, Louis MT traditionally was a very passive player, whereas Louis MT in that game was incredibly aggressive. But obviously, if it wasn't Louis, then it makes sense. All right, we got ourselves a little bit of action over towards this east side. 19 minutes through the game. Meanwhile, upgrades coming through. We start to see synchronized shot on the way. He's got these cute little walls coming up as well, looking to protect his trebuchets, his trusty trebuchets. And hand cannoneer is now going to be firing off at all of these spearmen at the front. Keep in mind, these have got extra attack speed, so he's going to be stutter stepping his way to victory here, or at least that's what he's going to be hoping for. Doing a wonderful job of kiting. And now the horsemen, gilded horsemen coming through, focusing down those Lancaster lords immediately. And trebuchet firing off over the top of them. Numidan doing his best to kite out the opponent, but you can see just how quickly the tides are turning. It feels like the army from Don has barely even been hit. Meta Arms also going to be coming out. Billman upgrade is through. But geez Louise, that was a beautiful little defense there. I don't think, he hasn't got Serpentine Powder in just yet, so no university upgrades on the way at this stage. And now firing off towards those hand cannoneers with the synchronized shot. You can see the yeomen and just how well they're doing. How much range have these got? They've got 4.5 tiles of range compared to the 6 tiles of range. So not a bad little difference that we've got there, but Lords of Lancaster being taken out. You can see them getting sniped away. The yeoman number definitely leaves a little bit to be desired. They're only elite, but I feel like you probably want to invest even more heavily in the yeoman at this stage. King's College, you can see the one upgrade that was picked. I'm trying to remember what upgrade it was. I'm blanking on that last upgrade. The bonus damage. Bonus damage for your units. So extra, yeah, you go from like 31 versus cavalry to 34 versus cavalry or something like that. And for the yeomen, we see that they're 11 versus gunpowder infantry, when normally they'd be like 9 versus gunpowder infantry. So nice little boost right there. I tell you what, I'm kind of glad I remembered that. I was feeling a little bit sad I couldn't remember it, but we got there in the end. Don now up, going to be looking to take out the Menas. Almost one-shots the Mena. Whew, that's something that you're going to need to fight over. These are expensive to rebuild. He's got 9 out of 9 at the moment. 0 out of 4 on the Lords for the moment. And Numidan looking very strong when it comes to that military population or military number. But remember, these units coming out from Don, very powerful. And now 52 spears together with the 15 archers or yeomen. Fire off, doesn't really hit much though. It's always a bit disheartening when you swing and you miss like that. Interestingly, not making any more yeomen, just going full spear at this point. He's just going full spear, full billman. And Numidan trying to hold on. Hobbler going to be the next choice that he looks to move into. Town Center going to start taking quite a bit of damage here. He's got 4 trebs out. That's the 5th treb, my lord. Somebody stop this guy. Meanwhile, Gilded Horsemen going to be making their way behind the backline. We also see a couple of Earl's Guards coming out. He's got 6 Earl's Guards at the moment. And now, oh, look at the stables. He's full switching into Hobbler, but this is going to get scouted out by the Don. Don Hardy now sees 1 stable, sees 2, sees 3, and says, hold on a minute, what are you doing with all those stables? Meanwhile, Don's actually maxed. He's 200 out of 200. 106 villagers currently on the map. That is a lot of villagers for this madman. And this raid is definitely doing quite a bit of work back here. He's taken out a lot of villagers so far this game. Actually, I take it back. It's actually Numidan has taken out quite a few villagers this game. Meanwhile, that push is still happening down on the south side. Yeoman going to be looking once again for that synchronized shot. Town Center going to be going down. This is going to be his 2nd landmark going down, so going to have to start fighting eventually, Numidan. Not that he hasn't been fighting already. He's got a whole bunch of Earl's Guards just chilling out at the keep. I think something you'll eventually start to realize the more games that you play, but now able to one-shot out these manas. This is where it starts to reach that critical point. We also start to see upgrades coming through. Yeoman firing off on the back line. Get some decent damage right there. Much better damage this time. And more spearmen moving forward. And look at the Hobblers as they begin to round the corner. He's really looking to play this Zergling-style army, the full trash right now. And not that the Hobbler is a trash unit, but it is, I mean, it's a horseman replacement, so we'll call it trash for now. You can see he's making his way towards the front. Doesn't have that extra charge damage on the Hobbler. Keep that in mind. And that's going to be a huge I'm not going to say mistake, but an unfortunate a consequence of putting down the King's College where he did, is that he now can't get that extra upgrade for the damage, and that's the real power of the Hobbler. It just gets out there and just does a whole bunch of damage with its charge and then just kind of dies. Poor thing. It's a bit of a sacrificial, it's a bit of a kamikaze unit in that way, isn't it, when you think about it? But he's got a whole bunch of stables here, so undoubtedly he'll be looking to spam them if he can rebuild these landmarks. Still, even if he can't, I mean, look at the armor on these. These are kind of crazy when you think about it, right? I mean, they just got absolutely obliterated by the ranged units here, but 9 ranged armor is kind of crazy. But now making his way towards the front, Hobbler's once again going to get melted by these ranged units if they're not careful. 5 trebs out. We're right on board with Don as he looks to try and hold this position. Firing off towards the house. Still, no way he's going to be able to get that landmark up while these units are on the field. And now the spears chasing with the yeoman. Yeoman probably got synchronized shot coming up shortly, don't they? Any second now. It's up. Horseman running the gauntlet as well. And now bringing out a relic to get a Wallalol. There's the synchronized shot. Wallalol comes down, trying to defend the line. Not going to be able to find anything. Cannon emplacement. We just heard the first of the cannon emplacements. At least, yeah, there it is. And immediately you can see the reaction from Numidan. What's interesting about this is Don left this until only now he's just got that cannon emplacement in. Either that or I just wasn't hearing it. Maybe I just wasn't listening. The cannon emplacement will be instrumental here because... Okay, there you go. There you go. All right, there's your instrumental. Numidan just says, yep, that is... Hey, I wasn't lying. The cannon emplacement was instrumental. Ladies and gentlemen, go check them out. I'll leave links in the description where you can catch them live. And make sure you check out EGC TV this weekend, 15 GMT, Saturday and Sunday. It was a quick game, but it was a good game. It was a good game.